With the test now being live, you can see the data in Google Analytics. Some specialists will tell you that you should not look at the data and let the test run for the calculated number of weeks. However, it is crucial to check the data every day, starting 2 hours after you have launched a test. Checking the data is fun. It is a lot of fun and exciting to see how your test performs. But checking the data is essential for quality assurance. You want to see if no strange things are happening in your data. You want to check for 4 things. First, you want to see if data is coming into Google Analytics. Second, are there sufficient users and conversions in your experiment? It is unlikely that 100% of the users on the test page will be part of the experiment. Your testing tool could miss a user. There could be a timeout due to the long loading times, and users could have specific cookie settings preventing them from entering the test. Still, you want to have at least 80% of all visitors on your test page to be part of the experiment. If the number of users and conversions is lower than you expected, you should check your audience and page targeting. The third reason to check your data is to see the conversion rates in the variation. If your variation results in a massive drop, you might want to stop the experiment. It could be that your experiment is causing an error on your website, or the changes you made just result in a lot more people not converting. If after 2 days the variation results in a 10% decrease in conversions, I tend to stop the experiment or at least discuss it with the product owner. The final reason to check your data is to see if the distribution of users over the control and variation is equal. If it is not equal, this is called a sample ratio mismatch. We will cover this in a later lesson in this section. Let's set up an exploration report in GA4. For this report, we want to see general metrics to quickly check if the running A/B test is still performing as it should. Let's see what we got. I set the title to A/B test ID1 check. We have the dimension device category, and for the metrics we have total users, average engagement time per session, your main KPI, and revenue. To only see this data for our A/B test, I included 4 segments: all users in control, all users in control who converted, all users in the variant, and all users in the variant who converted. The segments look like this. For control, we have the event which we set up in our testing tool. So here we see the code with our event, and we use it over here. For those who converted, we have a sequence with again all users in control, followed by a purchase, which is the KPI of our experiment. And we have the same for the variant. So all traffic with the variant event, which we also have here in the code, and all traffic with the variant event followed by a purchase. So in our report, we can see that right now there are 1,888 users in control and 1,874 users in the variant. And we can see all these numbers for the control and the variant. When we scroll to the right, we see the number of users who converted in control, which is 322. And we see the number of users who converted in the variant, which is also 322 right now. So we know the data is coming in. And if the number of users seems too low, check the number of users on your test page. For instance, as we see here in the Pages and Screen report. And of course, make sure the period is the same for both reports. Now, the number of users in your test should at least be 80% of the total number of users on your test page, which we see over here. Your testing tool might miss some users, but when it is over 20%, something could be wrong with your targeting or setup of your testing tool. But for our test, when we add the number of users in control and the variant, it is pretty close to the total number of users on the test page. Furthermore, the conversion rates are pretty similar. The variant does not show a major drop. And also the distribution of users seem good. But as mentioned, we will cover this in a later lesson. So keep an eye on these numbers. When some numbers seem off, like a very low conversion rate in the variant, stop the test and check if it is causing errors. When we analyze our A/B test, we will extend this exploration report. So this report is very useful to see how your test is doing. Remember to check this report a couple of hours after launching the test and every single day after that. It is a lot of fun to see how your test is performing, but most importantly, see if everything goes smoothly. Now there's one thing to remember. Only use this data to see if everything is working fine. When you see something strange in your data, that is when you want to stop the test. But if you do not see anything strange, let the test run until it reaches the minimum sample size and the test duration as calculated before. Never stop a test sooner because the results are significant. And also, do not let the test run longer than the estimated time it needs.